Hello everyone and welcome to a tutorial like video of heliborne. This is after realizing that in order to play with some of my subscribers I would need to help teach them the game. I understand that I've been through this process. Sometimes I don't know what a game is, I like the look of it, but I get stuck on it. While heliborne comes naturally to me, to others it may not, so I am making this video to give people a helping hand. Start off, the first thing you have is the squadrons. This is the battle unit you bring into battles. In order to make a squadron, you would go on create a new squadron there. Squadron name, whatever, Valkyrie. Then we select whatever nation there is. In later versions of the game there will be Europe, Asia, whatever, but for now let's try the Soviet Union, which is represented by the red star. Generation 2, which is that bit there, Generation 1, Generation 4, Generation 3, all of which are a different tier of helicopters, except some, such as 2s. Some 2s can be in Generation 3, some 3s can be in 4, some 1s can be in 2, etc, etc, etc. But for now let's create a Generation 1 squadron. So to start off with the Soviet Union, since I have a full list of the helicopters available, this is most of the ones you would have for a Generation 1 squadron, but at the start you'd have about 3. So let's pick, say, the Mi-4. So let's not pick the Mi-4. Let's pick the Mi-2 Yep. You'll notice that we have a different selection of guns available, so we can choose those. We can also give it flares. Soldiers wise, bunch of RPGs. Or not, let's give it 2 RPGs and some infantry. Camouflage wise is also a thing. That's our scout. There are 3 slots open in the game, so you could give them potentially a transport. This is an extreme version of transport. Or maybe a KA-25, which has ability to mount 10 soldiers in. Choose a KA-25. And last one, we can go with a gunship, such as this, which is also a gunship / transport, but it has so many rockets, it's not even funny. Anyway, that's our squadron created, which is one of the more basic things you need to do in the game. The hangar is a list of all the helicopters you have. So let's just quickly select all the tiers. As you can see, I have many. It says ready to research, in which you are ready to use the points you accumulate in game to research helicopters, but let's not go on that yet. Career wise is a list of your rank, battles, victories, your awards. You are able to change your helmet if you wish, to which I have a bunch of. Foxtrot, blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Tutorials, these are videos. And you could also have a list of awards as well. You can also customize your helmet. And then we also have progression. Now, in my opinion, the worst thing you can do is immediately say, oh, I want a Cobra, so I'm going to play the game indiscriminately over and 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 over again until I want that Cobra. I would say, enjoy your time. Pick one nation, focus on that nation. A starting helicopter line you may want for the USA is going to be probably the H-21, which comes with soldiers and a bunch of rockets. The Scout AH-1, which also has rockets, and you can have up to 28 rockets on it. And the Huey, which is a very noob friendly vehicle because it's relatively slow and is very forgiving. Soviet Union wise, you're probably going to want the Mi-2 Yep because it's completely ridiculous as it is. The KA-25 and the KA-18, which will give you 2 scouts and a gunship / transporter. Last but not least, we have settings, which I would recommend putting the game on windowed mode. Do whatever you want with the quality. Interface wise, the basic UI can sometimes meld with the environment, so pick a UI color using this slider to something that will not get easily misplaced. Now, onto the game itself. Heliborne is a helicopter arcade / simulator made by Jetstar Games. It is quite fun to play. The game is relatively easy to grind, and it was made for about, and you can buy it for about £10. The like I said, it's fun to play, but let's have a look at the vehicle controls first. If you're using the basic keyboard, Shift is what makes your helicopter go down. Space is what lets it go up. Your mouse is your joystick for this, so where you're pointing your mouse, your helicopter will face. W to go forwards, S to go backwards, D to strafe right, A to strafe left. You can use the right mouse, hold down to give your helicopter a free look. In any helicopters which have a turret-like configuration, you'll also be able to aim your weapons in that way as well. Meaning in hover mode or sniping, the turret will be quite useful. Other things the game has as well is a more aim-centric mode, which is done by pressing V. This is the mode you'll go into when you're firing missiles, as well as using your mortars. But for starters, let's have a look around the map. As you can see, the Mi-1 is a relatively responsive vehicle. I point my mouse over there, it goes towards it. It can do a 360 relatively easy, and it is quite nippy. This is the first kind of vehicle you'll get for the Soviet line, and the American version is a little bit different. It's a little slower, but the overall response time is roughly similar. When it comes to moving helicopters, they are relatively fast, depending on how they are. The later versions will be quite fast, but so will the smaller ones, scout helicopters and etc. Like I said, scout helicopters, there is 3 different types of helicopters in the game. There are scout helicopters, which are mainly used for reconnaissance. They are the only helicopters which are able to identify infantry from a long distance away, which can give them that edge in battle in which no one else will be able to spot the infantry, but the scouts can. They are generally the fastest and most nimble type of their class, although that isn't always true. And if someone has dropped off mortars, they are able to use mortar. As of such, scouts are also able to designate targets using B, to which we will do that very shortly when we come across some enemies. Sorry, I had a bit of water there because my mouth was a little bit dry. We need to find some enemies first. There we go. So, most of the time, if you're not doing PvP, if you're doing PvE and everything else, if you're doing your career / single player, your enemies will always be in blue. So we press B, and your target will be identified, which means that in a scout helicopter, when you have identified and scouted their target, even if you don't kill it, you get the reward if somebody does, meaning that a scout helicopter can be a very useful support role as well. In terms of ammo in the game, machine guns are unable to hurt NBTs at all. Rockets can. Cannons, such as the 23, the 20 and the 30mm, are able to harm any targets in the game except the NBTs from the front. However, they will basically put a hole in just about everything else. As you can see here, using my machine gun, there is only one kind of target I can hurt. Rockets would always take multiple rounds to kill vehicles, except for the largest ones. So as you can see, there's a BMD-2 there. 1, 2, 3.
Пожар на борту. Пожар на борту.
And of course, it will take far more to kill a NBT. When it comes to performing attack runs and enemy units, actually, let's get into an actual game first. So for ease of roles being defined, I will choose a Generation 2 map. Actually, no, let's not do that. You are able to create a battle on your own by selecting a generation. This, of course, will mean you will need to have a Generation 2, a Generation 3, a Generation 4 helicopter / squadron. So if we do a Generation 2, we will be able to select what kind of things are open in the game. So let's choose America. So we have our transport, our Huey, we have our gunship, the Cobra, and we have our scout, the Little Bird. Difficulty-wise, easy, you will never lose a game. Unless of course all your objectives are taken. Medium, hard, very hard. They keep going in terms of how difficult it will be if you start losing your objectives. Amount of players: if you do single player, you will not earn points. If you do co-op or co-op for 4, you will. Simultaneously objectives is the objectives that will be displayed on the board with a timer. 1 means obviously there'll only be 1 objective to do. 2 means 2, 4, 6, etc. Win condition: 5 objectives, 12 objectives, 20 objectives. This is the number of objectives you will have to do until you win the game, and until victory or total victory means you will have to capture every single point on the map, and for all of them to be reinforced with an armored column, or the enemy's base objective will need to be captured with an armored column. Game mode goes between regular and hardcore, which sets to how much damage your helicopters will take. For now, we're going to be on this one with 12 objectives. Sorry, another bit of water there. So as you can see, we're on a vastly different map. This is Generation 2 Vietnam. There are objectives. Ours are red, theirs are blue. So I am going to pick a Huey, which comes with 2 soldiers and 2 rocket launchers. As you can see, the Huey is remarkably different. It kind of looks like a gunship, but its main role is it being kind of a hybrid gunship / transport, making it very useful. As in, you can shoot shit and you can drop off shit. There we go. Anyway, our first objective is for us to capture landing zone 11 and to find and destroy enemy infantry in the marked area. Now, when it comes to landing, go in slow, hover around, and then using the down key, plop yourself on a landing zone. When it comes to capturing objectives, that is always the best place. And if you have troops, which is symbolised by this, the 8 to 4 that just went down, that signifies how many troops you have. Objectives in the game go from anywhere from 4 to 8 troops, sometimes even 10 being required. So your mileage may vary, and that obviously means that while some scouts may come with 1 person, that means you can only capture objectives, but you can't take them fully, meaning they are significantly more vulnerable to being killed. So the enemies have captured objective 8, which means we actually get to shooting things. Now, we are going to be doing a semicircle style attack, which means we'll be going in low to increase our speed, shoot as many of these objectives as we can, use our rockets to kill the other one, then we will go around and kill the last one. See? Kind of like a semicircle. And you can see those infantry down there. The scout can spot them, but we can't. We have to be basically suicidally low to see them, and since enemy troops can come with rockets, if that RPG had reloaded in time, he probably would have killed me. So that's what you have the scout for. Anyway, objective 8 we can capture, and then obviously one of the objectives is to capture 4. But for now, that is vastly too different. And do you remember what I said about landing? That happens. So yeah, take it from me. You want to land well, and you want to land perfectly. Anyway, this little bird, scout attack helicopter, comes with a 40mm grenade launcher, and it comes with some rockets. This scout's main utility is the grenade launcher, since primary weapons, grenade launchers, autocannons, machine guns can be reloaded, but rockets, such as missiles, rockets, and anti-air weapons, like Stinger missiles, Iglas, cannot be reloaded, so you have to go all the way back to base to do it. Anyway, somebody who's just joined in a transport. the HH-53, otherwise known as the Sea Stallion. As you can see, we can also spot the enemy at much longer differences. And you're dead. So anyway, every single objective captured comes with its own AA guns. And if that objective is reinforced with an armoured column, that means that objective is now significantly harder to take, especially when it comes with AA vehicles. So anyway, so we are going to avoid the objectives and we're going to come around from behind. To which I need more water. Again, the music is also okay as well. And again, now I forgot to mention what generations mean. The generation means from the late 40s to the modern day we have now. Obviously, Generation 1 is some very early helicopters, Generation 2 is Vietnam style, Generation 3 being the Soviet war in Afghanistan, you know, Apaches and stuff, and then Generation 4 being the helicopters we have today. So we're going to find the enemy when they're here, to figure out, there they are. So as you see, they have grown bigger, and we can kill them, which means we've marked them. And we can also spot enemies at longer range as well. As you can see, that Sea Stallion there is also not being a very happy bunny right now, is it? So, as you can tell, our grenade launcher is very, very effective versus just about most targets in the game. Although, for direct damage, nothing really beats a rocket. And also being very agile as well. As you can see, it is quite easily able to turn on its head and move around. And of course, since I only have a manpad loaded, which I should probably never use that again. But if this was a PvP game, I now have a dude with a rocket launcher able to shoot enemies. As you can see, another objective has turned up, meaning an armoured column from landing zone 4 will be moving all the way to landing zone 8. This means if they get there, the objective will pretty much be taken by the enemy. It won't be taken automatically, but eventually those APCs will spawn troops. Which, your freshly new objective has only been taken. And that sucks balls. Anyway, enemy armor column, we'll shoot off some rockets, and we'll wait until they get into range. Up until now, we'll also murder some infantry as well. Using your cursor, the main one, which is the one which is constantly moving, going from left to right, not the aiming circle, but the one which you use your mouse control for, is the one you designate targets with. So there are 3 types of vehicles in the game. There is regular light vehicles such as APCs and boats. These can shoot at you with varying degrees of success, and they are worth 3 points. The second one is AA vehicles, and those will absolutely wreck your shit up. As you can see, we are going to spot that vehicle, and in the kill feed, he should come up as a reconnaissance target destroyed. This means that without me having to do anything other than pressing B, the scout will hopefully kill him. Or won't, because I think the scout has actually run out of rockets. No matter. See? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Reconnaissance assist. So, like I said, I would recommend the slower US line of helicopters. But if you want a helicopter that can really help you in Generation 1 to 3, definitely pick the Mi-2 Europe, because that thing is amazing. For now, however, we're going to screw the enemy shit up, because the grenade launcher is very, very powerful towards them, which is always nice. Unfortunately, it does lack firepower at long range, so you will need to get in close. But this is definitely one of the Generation 2 helicopters I would recommend, as it basically gives you an unlimited amount of I want to hurt everything. It comes with a scout, and you can give it a troop, which means you are able to cap objectives for it for the win, which you can see 4 has been capped by that little bird as well. However, you will need to unlock the 40mm weapon package for it first. Which, if not, you will basically start with a crappy machine gun and about 7 rockets, which isn't exactly ideal. Otherwise, I would also say get the UH 1D Huey. I can't remember its designation, but basically get the 6 Huey. Alright, I've spotted, so hopefully the little bird is going to go and shoot him with a rocket. Or not. Okay, he's not because he's run out of rockets. See, that is like the first world problem right there. Alright, we're quickly going to screw his shit up. See ya. Anyway, the objectives of the game will change. The enemy can spawn armor columns from convoy to convoy, objective to objective, sorry. They can put troops places, infantry, destroy positions that basically destroying the AA guns of an objective, capturing the objective, well, self-explanatory there. As well as defending objectives as well. This can often mean defending your objective from anywhere from 1 to 3 vehicle columns, which, if you kill them all, you've suddenly got yourself a hell lot of things. There's some missiles over there. To which, if I didn't have flares, do you remember me talking about man pads? If I didn't have flares right there, I'll be dead. Flares are also something you have to unlock. To which it is quite needed to do so. And I narrowly avoided an RPG there, which also would have killed me. Scouts often carry the least amount of armor in the game, with transports and some gunships bearing the highest. Obviously the MI-24 has kind of a record for gunships, being that it was historically difficult to destroy, and I believe helicopter weapon packages are also historical as well, meaning that you will get that MI-8 with 128 rockets on it for no reason other than the fact that they decided to give a transport 128 rockets. Makes sense, right? I, after this, will choose the Cobra, and signifying gunships in this game, because gunships, while the transports capture things and the scouts serve as the reconnaissance vehicles, the gunships are here to fuck your shit up, and they will fuck your shit up with ruthless efficiency. See, we're literally going to stand here, to which you press G to switch helicopters. Which, congratulations, we now have a helicopter. That looks pretty mean, doesn't it? The Cobra, in this configuration, carries a 20mm electric cannon, which is the Vulcan. That thing loves killing people. It carries 21 rockets, and it also has a 40mm grenade launcher as well. But for now, we are going to support, or we're going to kill steal everything for the convoy from Objective 11, which you can see down there. The vehicles are actually quite well modelled. Let's have a quick look at them. That is a M48 pattern, I believe. M113 with the armoured gunner sight, and an M42 Duster. Of course, we're talking about it. Tank, APC, anti-air, APC, APC. But anyway, for this is possibly an amazing configuration for the Cobra, as the 20mm cannon allows you to just about penetrate everything at long range. Yeah, screw your objective, I have a 20mm. And since it's an auto cannon, it can reload in mid-flight, which is excellent. Very powerful versus AA positions as well. Doesn't come with much armor though, so it's very likely that that anti-air vehicle down there, the ZSU, will probably kill me. Or maybe not. Whew, that doesn't often happen. You see how ridiculously agile this thing is. Infantry, to which, since I'm not in a helicopter, you either have to spot them manually, so just looking at them, or you have to guess. To which, the guy with the AK-47 killed me. That's somewhat depressing. Alright, we're going to go back to the transport. And I am going to have another swallow border. One thing I forgot to touch on is the use of door gunners in this game. As you can see, below the rocket icon, we have 7, which is on automatic, which I'm not sure if you saw earlier using the Huey against the ground troops in the first sortie, but you have door gunners in this game. Now these guys can function with, they are usually on automatic, meaning they will primarily fire against infantry and AA positions, soft targets basically, but you can also take manual control of them. See? But unfortunately this is quite inefficient. However, what you can do when using free look is that you can direct them, which on some transports is actually the only way they can defend themselves. However, I want to blow up this here tank. As you can see, the door gunner going there, who will hopefully kill him very soon. There we go, he got him. What you need to do now is to capture landing zone 3, and we have won. And, which you've also seen, we're also able to deploy our RPGs now. Which, one there, and one there. If this game is going on for longer, they will be defending the cap circle. And then I earned 171 in that game. Survival rating, blah 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 blah, statistics. Now, I am going to purchase a new helicopter. I will buy the Scout AH-1. But you know what? Maybe I want it to defend against manpads. So I'll unlock infrared countermeasures. Well, not giving it more rockets. Or I could go for a dedicated tank buster and unlock the ATTMs as well. To which, if we go to squadrons, where are you? There you are. We'll delete the H25 and we will add in this. So we can change the weapon configuration, give it more rockets, which you can see adds an extra rocket bot to either side, or we can give it some missiles. Now soldiers. What if I wanted a mortar team and say an RPG to defend them? That's that. Let's give it some infrared countermeasures as well. I now have a scout with a bunch of stuff on it. It's as easy as that. And of course I can add my Scout 1 to my Generation 1 USA fleet. You also have your menu in game. Your rank there. Obviously your reputation points. And then last but not least, you can also go in other people's battles as well. Now, if I wanted to not have PvP selected, I would click on PvP. And suddenly all of the PvP games have deleted. But what if I was starting out and I didn't want to see tier 4? I delete tier 4. What about tier 3 as well? Okay, just delete that. So only tier 1 games have started. But what if I wanted to only play my Apache Longbow? I just have tier 4 selected. Then obviously there are some lock matches as well. But you get the gist of it. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. As always, like and subscribe if you feel generous. I always like likes and subscribes. If you don't dislike it, doesn't matter to me. It's for your participation anyway. I hope to see you on my live streams, which you can come and say hi. There's also a Discord group called Kicksuka.com, who are my sponsor. Please check them out. And I have just realised that I also have that widget been disabled. So yeah, there you go. There's an actual look now. Sorry about the widget, by the way. It annoys me. It annoys me too. Anyway, take care everyone, and see you all next time.